Hello everyone, welcome to AWS Industry Councils, a forum for business leaders to come and share their insights, their experiences, and learnings from their work. This is a forum where we learn from their experiences and leverage them in our day-to-day work. I'd like to begin today with acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respect to their elders, past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people here today. Myself, Anurag Saluja, and I'm part of AWS retail team. I'm pleased to welcome Pranesh from Flybuys, who heads digital marketing as well as customer operations. I'd also like to welcome Gavin Watson from monday.com, who heads retail industry at monday.com.
Thanks, Anurag.
Welcome to the session, gents.
Thank you.
Today, we're going to discuss how Flybuys are leveraging monday.com as a solution to bring efficiency in their marketing and customer operations. Let me start with Pranesh. Pranesh, you are running one of Australia's largest loyalty programs, multiple retailers, multiple plans, offers, so many things you manage. Why don't you share something from a data perspective? The kind of scale you're working, the kind of complexity you're dealing with?
Yeah, so Flybuys is Australia's largest loyalty program. As you mentioned, we have many partners. So we have over 20 partners across multiple industry verticals. And it is extremely challenging when you're working with so many different partners. If you think about the scale of Flybuys and how many members we have, 2 out of 3 households in Australia have a Flybuys in the household. And we also, you talk about offers, we do billions of offers and communications to our members every day. So it is quite a large operation and at scale.
Brilliant, thank you. What are your thoughts on this, Gavin, given your experience in retail working with so many similar customers across the region?
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting question. And Pranesh, I think about, Flybuys in terms of all the different channels you operate in. I mean, you've got obviously TVC brand campaigns running, you've got in-store activations happening, you've got your app, you've got offers that are constantly coming out, and then you're obviously working with third parties as well to, manage all of that as well. How do you balance the complexities of all of that?
It's a daily challenge, but we have processes, systems in place. One of them being monday.com. Particularly from a marketing point of view, as you mentioned, there's so many different channels. Email, web, online, in-store, and we currently use monday.com as our platform to sort of bring everyone together, different teams, different stakeholders, internal and external, and yeah, that's probably the main way that we collaborate from a marketing point of view. So to ensure us to deliver that consistent omni-channel experience.
Interesting.
And given the kind of the macroeconomic trend, especially the recent trends of rise in the cost of living for individuals and customers across the region, the behaviors of customers are kind of changing. They still expect personalized offers. They still expect more rewarding kind of propositions to them. But my question was around your approach as to how you've seen this trend. What is your observation and how have you been dealing with this kind of change in the behavior?
Yeah, so we're quite fortunate being a loyalty program, and our job is to help our members every day, get them to stretch the dollars that they spend. And with the program that we run, our main focus is on everyday spending. So whether it's groceries, whether it's fuel, whether it's travel, our job is to help our members, maximize, the dollar, the return that they get on their daily spend. So it's been a challenging time for us, but it's also been a great opportunity for us to be at the forefront of our members as a, try and save and be smarter with their spending, and being able to help them, accumulate points, redeem products through our program.
It's an interesting point as well. I mean, I think about that obviously from the consumer side, but also from a business perspective as well. Like businesses are trying to do more with less.
Yeah,
there's cost pressure on resources. There's even pressure on resources as well. So, yeah, we're looking at it from the consumer side of things, but also, I think about it from the business perspective. And I know when we first started working with Flybuys, it was almost a question of getting the different team members to articulate what they were doing in the business so you could all work more holistically together. So do you believe that now you're working that way, you're able to operate more efficiently as a business as well?
Yeah, I think definitely, you know, being a company that has to work with different stakeholders, both internally and externally, it's been crucial for us to have a platform or have a consistent way of communicating and collaborating. So yeah, monday.com has definitely helped us in achieving that.
Yeah, I think I quite agree with your point, Kevin, that for any business to operate in a kind of the best possible way, your one is the planning aspect there, which is kind of planning the campaign, really organizing the whole stuff, and then there's the other aspect is the execution aspect, right? So how do you see the execution and planning before and after leveraging monday.com? Do you see sort of really those kind of the key differences? Would you like to share those differences with us?
Yes, I think historically planning and execution were very siloed. There was no linkage between them. And with migrating it to monday.com, where we've been able to do both planning and execution in the one platform. So through the workflow management and automations of monday.com, we've been able to sort of create a seamless experience with planning right through to execution. And then things don't always go as planned, and the ability when those things do happen that there's a seamless process. So that's allowed us so that everyone's across anything that's happening at any given moment, because we're all using a single platform, which also helps us reduce any potential errors or issues that we might have. I think communication is key when you're working in a complex stakeholder environment.
Very insightful. Thanks for sharing those data points. So with that kind of tangible business benefit you've delivered in a scenario where the campaign planning and execution, the customer operations are being planned in and executed in an intense manner, I mean, apart from this area, do you see other retail areas or loyalty areas or within the business like Flybuys, the application of your solution as well going forward?
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting question. I mean, I think Monday, we classify ourselves as a work management platform. So essentially that's any work that's being done in an organisation, how can you make it more efficient? And, if I think about Flybuys as an example, obviously Pranesh and the marketing team have done a great job of bringing Monday in and getting the benefits out of it. You now have other teams in the business, such as HR and finance, that have seen the benefit they can get from a platform such as Monday, and they've put it into the business as well. But I think if you look at, a business holistically, and it's quite interesting, I was recently talking to a CFO, and they were saying, look, with what we're doing now as an organisation, we need to look at the customer first, and then what benefit can we get across the whole business? Not just pockets and silos, it's across the whole business. So a lot of the work that we're doing with retail, marketing sits at the heart of a lot of things that happen, but then there's other business units. There's, if you're going to be refreshing your stores, there's thousands of tasks that go into that. So how can you make that more efficient? How can you sync that back into marketing? There's range reviews. What you're going to put on your shelves, the stock turns you've got, managing that side of things. Again, there's thousands and thousands, in some cases millions of different tasks and things that need to happen. If that's not being automated, you're not being efficient. And then there seems to be more and more of a growing trend towards home brand products, so new product development. So if you're going to go and come up with a concept and then go and do the manufacturing to produce a product, again, if you can automate that process, but also have that information flowing into the next step. So what I mean by that is if you can develop a new product and the next step in the process is the packaging design or the photography or getting into marketing team to start building out assets, if you can automate and connect a lot more of those processes, you're going to get far greater efficiencies out of the business. So yeah, I think, the use case example we're seeing here with Flybuys, it's phenomenal when you think about it and you think about the amount of content that they can actually turn out as an organisation, in terms of what they're doing. But then if I move that onto the other side within, bricks and mortar or mainstream retail, there are so many different use cases. But I think the real focus has to be around tangible benefits. You have to see value in anything you're doing, and that's what we're seeing with the retailers we're working with. And I think, Pranesh, from your point, obviously other teams have started picking up Monday as well.
Yeah, I think to your point, initially Monday was brought in from a marketing, execution and operation point of view, and we've now sort of extended the use to other teams. So, one part is, sending out comms to our members, but then there's also a financing and invoicing side of it. So getting our finance team onboarded and using that platform from an invoicing and financing perspective. And it's grown even further, to our HR teams are also using it for project management and planning. And, there are sort of an interrelationship between different business units. And yeah, like as we, use the platform more and more, the adoption of the platform is going wider and wider, which is great.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's real customer obsession. Thanks for that, Kevin. From an implementation perspective, when this particular platform or solution was brought into Flybuys, was there already an existing solution which it replaced? And if yes, then what changes have you seen kind of before and after? If you're happy to share that, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, so we did have a platform beforehand that was purely around marketing, sort of planning and operations point of view. And, at that time, the platform was purpose fit, but it was a legacy platform that we had for a long time. And, as we were growing as a business, we decided to look at and see if there's any other, vendors out there that could support us. And, to my previous point, initially we brought on monday.com to a small group of the business, about 30 to 40 users, purely from a marketing sort of planning and resourcing perspective. And about, I think, 2.5 years later now, we're just under 300 users of the platform. So initially, a very specific use case. We had some issues around automations and optimizations. We were able to solve that with monday.com, but again, just being a platform that is not just for marketers, there is business-wide benefits, and then being able to build on that workflow of there's one side's marketing, then there's financing, then there's the HR component, and being able to gradually grow as a business or the value. We're even using it now for dashboarding of data. So yeah, it's definitely grown in terms of what we're using it for over the last couple of years.
That's really, really good to know. Kevin, would you have any thoughts on how this is going to continue to innovate for monday.com as well as for Flybuys? Any further thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, and I really like hearing what Pranesh was talking about there. I think, for Monday, it's really important to make sure that our customers are seeing value. So the whole way our team's set up is around what we call MAP, monthly active paying users of the platform. So our customer success team that works with Flybuys, for example, they've got a couple of things they're focused on. One is about making sure the customer's getting the most out of the platform and that there's as many engaged users as possible, but also it's about uncovering other areas of opportunity either within the platform or within the business. So obviously AI is a big buzz out there at the moment. We do have AI functionality that's been built into Monday. I kind of look at that and say that will take its place with the teams that need it and see the value in it. It's not about replacing people, it's about creating efficiencies and creating process.
Yep.
So in terms of innovating, yes, we always are looking to innovate. By nature, that's what Monday's all about. It's about innovating and doing, new and interesting things that make sense for our customers. But we really take the lead from the customer, and it's about making sure, number one, the customer's getting the most out of their investment in Monday. You can see a return for that. But then on the second side, seeing how we can grow. And that growth in terms of, new areas and new things may come through partnerships.
Yeah.
We have a number of external ISVs that we work with. And really for Monday, it's about bringing best of breed together. So that may be best of breed, if there's an asset management system or if it's an approval process, understanding customers' needs, then drive what we do from that point of view.
Oh, that's really good. Thank you so much both for your time. And I really wish you a successful partnership, because the more your partnership is successful, the better offers Australians will continue to get. Thank you once again for your time. And as we come to the end of this session today, I'd like to thank both Gavin and Pranesh for their time and their inputs. The audience, thank you very much for staying with us. And I'm